everyone, my name is Ryan Cam, and welcome to my list of my 10 favorite movies of 2018. 2018 was a damn fine year for movies, and the 10 movies on this list truly got me excited. These movies made me laugh, they made me cry, they made me jump for joy, they made me scared, and they also wanted me to hug my nearest loved one. Making this list was truly difficult. On a different day with the same set of movies, I could have put 10 in 1 or 9 in 2 or 8 in 3 and then change it all around. It was that difficult. However, I am content with my choices and their placement on this list, and I am also content in the fact that I will not be seeing another movie in 2018. So, what you see is what you get. And now, in the words of the wise philosopher Khan, shall we begin? Number 10. If I'm being honest, number 10 was very difficult. It was a dogfight between 3 or 4 different movies. However, I finally settled on Overlord as my number 10. Overlord, quite frankly, was one of the most unsettling and gross movies that I saw in 2018, but in the best way possible. The effects were juicy and gross, the cinematography was gorgeous, and the action is some of the most intense that was in any movie in 2018. Simply put, Overlord was one of the biggest surprises of 2018 for me. Number 9. Number 9 is one of the last movies that I saw in 2018, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. I saw Into the Spider-Verse very late, but until then I had heard nothing but praise for this movie, saying it's one of the best movies of the year, it's the best animated movie of the year, and when it comes to hype like that, I tend to take it with a grain of salt. However, I can safely say that Into the Spider-Verse is the best animated movie of 2018. It combines beautiful animation with a stellar voice cast led by Shameik Moore. But one of the more surprising aspects that I thought of Into the Spider-Verse was that it had a ton of heart. There were a few gut-wrenching scenes in terms of emotion, and there were some tear-jerking moments. This is one of those movies that has something for everyone, and not in the bad way. You can watch any aspect of this movie for the comic book Easter eggs, for just the story in general, or if you're a comic book novice, this movie is perfect for you. Number 8. Number 8 on my list is 8th Grade. Wait, 8th grade? Well, that was a happy accident. 8th Grade overwhelmed me in the emotion department. It gave us a star-making turn in Elsie Fisher. I hope she gets more movies after this because she deserves all the work that she gets after this movie. She's definitely going to get snubbed at the Oscars, and I will be very sad. But she will always be number 1 in my heart. 8th Grade tackled the whole social anxiety thing in a very respectable and relatable light. I suffer from a little social anxiety myself. In a weird sort of way, I related to Elsie Fisher's character. I hope Bo Burnham gets at least some attention from the Academy, or else I just don't know anymore. Number 7. Yeah, remember how Overlord was a massive surprise? Upgrade was an even bigger surprise. The best way I can describe the movie Upgrade is that if you took the scripts from Blade Runner and iRobot, you crashed them together and made them with a very minuscule budget. That is Upgrade. Upgrade featured a fantastic turn from lead actor Logan Marshall Green, a fantastic script from Leigh Whannell, and some of the best fight scenes that I have seen in 2018. Props to Leigh Whannell and the entire back catalog crew of this movie because they made this movie look far more expensive than it probably was. And this movie also had an ending that left an appropriate amount of questions but was also incredibly satisfying. While to my knowledge this movie didn't do too well at the box office, I have a feeling that this movie will be appreciated down the line for years to come. Number 6. Coming in at number 6 we have Avengers Infinity War, and you kinda knew this was coming. I mean, Infinity War is bound to be on every single top 10 of the year list, or at least most of them. But it comes in at number 6 on mine. Avengers Infinity War was the MCU's 10-year plan, and thanks to Anthony and Joe Russo, they hit a massive home run. With a massive event movie like this, the key to success is balance, 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 and balance. That's a lot of balance. And the Russo brothers achieved this in spades. Take all of the MCU characters, which in some ways are likable, and combine it with one of the best comic book movie villains ever in Thanos, you have one of the best comic book movies, at least of the 2010s. It's one of my personal favorites. I am pumped beyond belief for Captain Marvel and Avengers Endgame, but for now, I shall bask in the glory that is Avengers Infinity War. Still basking. Number 5. Coming in hot at number 5 is the movie that I demanded should be given all the awards, A Star is Born. Bradley Cooper wrote, directed, and starred in this movie, and I think he gives the best performance of his career. Now, he has had some good ones in Silver Linings Playbook and others, but this was him at his most damaged and most relatable. The chemistry that Cooper and Lady Gaga existed with each other was just some of the best I've seen this year. And the music is outstanding as well. I think I've listened to Shallow and Maybe It's Time approximately 200 times. And also Sam Neill giving one of the most understated and overlooked performances of 2018. He will undoubtedly be snubbed for an Oscar, but I have a feeling he's out there somewhere praying for us sinners. That's a Big Lebowski quote. Simply put, A Star is Born is one of the most emotional movies that I saw this year. This movie almost made me cry. Almost. Number 4. Coming in at number 4, put aside the controversy and everything surrounding this movie, but First Man was still. Ryan Gosling brings a nuanced and subtle turn to probably one of the most famous Americans in history, Neil Armstrong. I am a sucker for space movies, and this one was one of my favorites, at least in recent memory. Lump in the performances with the third act, which is genuinely breathtaking in terms of scope and just Justin Hurwitz's outstanding score, and combine it with one of the most disturbing death scenes that I've seen in a movie this year. I'm talking about the Apollo 1 scene where Gus Grissom, Roger Chaffee, and Ed White were all in the capsule, and then the capsule just set on fire, and then you don't see the death, you just see the door go boom! Oh, okay. I have a feeling that First Man will be appreciated more in the years to come, and Damien Chazelle is one of our best working directors. Number 3. Now we're getting into the nitty-gritty, folks. These are the movies that I just loved the most, and honestly, I could have put 1 at 3 or 2 at 1 or 3 at 1. I could have interchanged this and I would be satisfied. However, right here and right now, I am content with number 3, 2, and 1. My number 3 on this list, A Quiet Place. 2018 was an excellent year for first-time directors, and A Quiet Place is the best out of all of them. This is a story told entirely through looks and American Sign Language, and John Krasinski used it to its full potential. Krasinski is one of our more underrated actors, and I have been saying for years, Emily Blunt is one of our best working actresses. She is so just vulnerable as this woman. She has one of the best scenes where I was in the chair like, oh my god, no, please don't, no. The biggest compliment that I could give A Quiet Place is that it's an excellent example of show, don't tell, and less is more. Number 2. Number 2 on this list is Alex Garland's follow-up to the fantastic Ex Machina, Annihilation. I believe Alex Garland is the heir to the throne left behind by Stanley Kubrick in terms of cerebral and just dark sci-fi. And Annihilation is exactly that. Lump in great effects, one of Natalie Portman's best performances, and combine it with an environment that provides for a lot of interpretation and discourse, and an ending that makes you go, what the hell, in the best way possible. Annihilation is my favorite work of fiction in 2018. I said work of fiction, which should give away my number 1. I'm wearing a certain outfit which should have given it away. However, if you didn't, here is my number one. Number one. I communicate to you my number one movie of 2018 by starting off by wishing you all that you have a most beautiful day. And then I ask you, won't you be my neighbor? Yes, I am wearing a sweater vest, a tie, and a shirt in honor of the incredible Fred Rogers. Won't You Be My Neighbor was my favorite movie of 2018. I went out of my way to see it, not far, but just enough to notice, and I am so glad I did. This movie captured the work of Fred Rogers in an intimate and personal light. It showed just how much of an inspiration he was to people and just how much of a touching figure he was to millions of children and millions of children at heart. I hate using the term, this is the movie that we need right now, because I feel like it gets just thrown around a lot. But this is the movie we need right now. I feel like Won't You Be My Neighbor and Fred Rogers' attitude towards life is something that we need right now, because we're just so angry at everybody else. I ask you, won't you be my neighbor? I don't care what you believe, but I just believe in you and in the good that's inside you. We need that attitude in this world right now. And Fred Rogers shined like a diamond, and he was a man above men. I highly recommend that you search out Won't You Be My Neighbor. I didn't know anything about Mr. Rogers going in, and I am so glad that I did. I want to go watch every single episode of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. I want to pick up the DVD set. I just want to learn more about this guy because of this movie, and I'm so happy that Won't You Be My Neighbor exists, and that it is absolutely my favorite movie of 2018. And that's all for me, guys. Thank you so much for watching, as always. Stay tuned for not tomorrow, but the next day, where I'll be reviewing my worst movies of 2018, the other side of the coin. I'll be wearing a different tie and everything, and I'm just gonna rip that band-aid off. But if you had different picks for your favorite movies of the year, leave them in the comment section below. I have a feeling that I have different picks than yours, so please feel free to leave them below. I will read them and respond to them accordingly. My name is Ryan Cam, and I'll see you in the next one.